My name is Onrie'S. You've seen me sell comics. I want to buy this comic.
Too bad, because that comic sucks!
You're watching Onrie'S Comic Mukbang Reviews. Prepare to get banged.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the, what is this, the eighth episode? Jesus, 8 episodes of Onrie'S Comic Mukbang Reviews, and I'm your host, Onrie'S, and I forgot to completely change the overlay here. We had, our first episode of the featured guest yesterday, but now we're doing comic mukbang reviews again. We're back to mukbanging. And yesterday was really a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing the featured guests, and I got some other guests for you guys lined up soon. And right now we have Mr. Bentley here, who's a special guest. And I brought some snacks here. You guys can watch him eat right now. He's going to get all excited. Oh, look at that. He's eating. Look at that. So you guys, those of you guys who are busy right now, or having a rough day, here you can watch Bentley eat some food. He's been a good boy this morning. Oh, my God, dude, you were a freaking bowling ball. You're so heavy. You're so small and heavy. It's disgusting. There you go. And if you're watching the show right now, welcome. We got some really awesome books that we'll be reviewing today. For those of you who are not watching now but are watching later, you have a chance to enjoy this. You can go back and rewatch Bentley chowing down on snacks. Hey. Respect. Respect me and respect the food. There you go. 2 more, and then your heavy buttocks are getting off of my lap. There you go. That's a good boy. Who's your good boy? What do you guys think he's thinking about right now? You think he's thinking about, man, I'm so lucky, I'm so loved by someone, or do you think he's thinking, give me more snacks? I just want more food. Give me more food right now. I think he's thinking about that. Yeah, see? Just look at that face. That's all he's thinking about. It's like, where's the next meal coming from? Where is the next snack? I have to see where this next snack is coming from. All right, get out of here. It was nice doing business with you. Yes, leave. All right. Well, anyway, oh, shoot, there's one more snack here. Here you go. Here you go. Now you can leave. So, you had a pretty good week with comic releases. Honestly, I don't think there's a single comic that I've read in this pile that I did not like this week. And I know I say that every week, but I mean, it's my pull list. So it's like, obviously I like these books. That's why I'm buying them and reading them and now reviewing them. I did miss one title that came out this week, and I was not able to acquire it yet. It's Smile for the Camera, which is the comic, a side comic story based in the Smile universe. If you guys have seen those 2 movies, the horror movie Smile. So I'm going to try and acquire that over the weekend and read it. I don't know if I'll work it into my reviews next week. We'll just see how much new reviews there, how many books I have to review for next week. I haven't even checked what's coming out next week. But this week, literally everything I bought was enjoyable to a large degree. And we're going to start off with The Amazing Spider-Man number 31. This is legacy number 995, so we're only 5 issues away from 1,000. See, we're getting back to the basics here. We're getting back to comics. Those of you guys who saw the featured guest yesterday or were a part of the debut episode, thank you so much. It really meant a lot to me and Sam. I think Sam gave a great interview. It was his first interview, and he was fantastic. I really enjoyed talking with him, after reading his book and hearing about his experiences growing up in the same neighborhood as me. It was, it was really interesting to hear what he had to say beyond that, and to kind of expand beyond the book and stuff like that. So definitely pick up Bromp, which is still being advertised in the bottom here. I'm gonna have to change that ticker too. But hopefully we'll have Sam back in the future. He was a great dude, and I really enjoyed hanging out with him, and I hope you guys did too. That was a lot of fun. All right, so first book, Amazing Spider-Man 31. This is actually one of the best issues of Spider-Man I've read in a long time. I was really dreading this, but they brought Patrick Gleason in to illustrate, and I really like Patrick Gleason's artwork. It really fits the mold for Spider-Man. I think he is, for Spider-Man, what Jorge Jimenez is for Batman. In all honesty, I think he's got a really distinct style that I think works really well for Spider-Man, and for a modern Spider-Man. And if when Spider-Man clicks in, I think the biggest thing is going to be that they get Patrick Gleason to be the regular interior artist on the book. So a lot's happening in this issue. We get from the aftermath of Torment, which really didn't make any sense. We found out that I thought we found out that Torment was Peter Parker's cousin, but what Torment actually relayed to us is that Peter Parker has a cousin. And then we found out the story of Torment, and I don't know, it was just sort of a very weird origin story. I don't really care about Torment. He's done. He's over with. He's a very forgettable villain for me. He's very much a kick the dog type of villain. Like he's a killer because he's got to be a killer, and his motivations don't really make much sense to me. But either way, Peter Parker's got a cousin now, and he's like, "Who's my cousin?" Well, it turns out Aunt May and Uncle Ben have been were trying to have a kid before they adopted Peter. And something that it seems to happen sometimes, is that kids are mistakenly pronounced dead, but they're not dead, or something like that. And that's how this son managed to go about living all these years without no one knowing about it. Here's my concern. So if you guys remember, in the 90s, they brought back Peter Parker's parents, and then it turned out to be a big prank that was put on by Harry Osborn and the Chameleon and Harry Osborn to hurt Peter. So they made these cyborgs that were disguised as Peter Parker's parents, and it wasn't really Peter Parker's parents because they died in the plane wreck and all this stuff. So but they came back, and they were there for a while. I mean, Peter Parker's parents were around for I want to say a year or two before they finally did away with them. And that we've seen that shock value before with introducing new elements to Peter's family dynamic. And now we're kind of revisiting this, but we're going at it from a different angle. I'm very curious to see what they do with this. Do we need this angle? Does this angle really add anything of value to Peter's life? I mean, I think that's to be determined still, and I think that's really up to the writers to kind of prove to us whether it's worth it or not. But I'm going to say right now that Joe Kelly wrote a really strong issue here. This is the best issue of Spider-Man I've read in a really long time. And again, why can't we just have Patrick Gleason or Pepe Larraz or whoever just be the regular artist on Spider-Man? This is a great issue because of the balance in art and storytelling. It's really good. It does kind of go in these weird directions at times. Sometimes I feel like there's a lack of coherency because there's a lot of jumping in between Peter finding out about his cousin, whose name is Cormac, which is a really stupid name. But and for those of you guys who are named Cormac out there, I apologize in advance. But or Noah Cormac or whatever. But it's just I don't know. It's really strange, and it's balanced between that and Spider-Man going into a fight pit where the winner of these fights gets a prize, and that's usually the arsenal of different villains. So the Shocker's equipment is put up for auction, and then somebody else is doing something else, and of course Tombstone is running all this. Tombstone is such a key figure in the last few years, but I never really saw him as being that much of a key figure in the Spider-Man universe. I don't know why he's suddenly taken up so much space in that world, but I mean, I'm not hating it. It's just something I didn't expect to see. And again, some of the artwork in this is actually, all the artwork in this is really good. Patrick Gleason's an incredible artist. I mean, he really is. And having him on as the mainline Spider-Man artist is something I would love to see. He's just a really dynamic artist and does really cool stuff. And again, this is a well-written issue. I don't know how I feel about Uncle Ben's son now being a factor in all this, and how this is going to affect Peter in either a positive or negative way. I mean, should it affect Peter in a positive or negative way? I mean, what's the direction? Where are we going with this? All right, they did this. They introduced this character, but I think only time is going to be able to tell whether or not this is going to be something that really changes Spider-Man for the good or for the worse. And I mean, the storytelling and direction of the overall story. So we'll see. I'm giving it a chance. And honestly, I was really impressed with the presentation for this book. Cover, I don't know how I feel about the cover. It's kind of bland a little bit. I get that it's a kind of like a subtle, there's some subtleties to it, but and I guess that's what it calls for. Again, you got Gleason on the cover too, so I can't really diss this. This was a good book. For Spider-Man, it gets a 4 out of 5 this week. This was actually a really damn good issue. I'm gonna commend Joe Kelly on his writing, Patrick Gleason on his artwork. This is a 4 out of 5. And if those of you guys have been watching the Mukbang reviews, you know how I've been hitting on Spidey for a while now. This is the best issue of Spidey I've read in a long time. So 4 out of 5 on this. And this week we got lucky. We got 2 Spider-Man books that came out. And the second one is a new miniseries that I like to say is set in the Hickman verse. So a couple years ago, Jonathan Hickman launched a Wolverine miniseries called Wolverine Revenge, which was 5 issues. And it kind of was sort of like an Elseworlds Wolverine story. And for all intents and purposes, I believe that Spider-Man Long Way Home is sort of the same idea. It's not connected to the movies in any way. This is just, Jonathan Hickman and Adam Kubert, doing is it Adam or Andy Kubert? I want to check it out real quick. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's Adam Kubert. Okay. So Jonathan Hickman, Adam Kubert, and basically a lot of the story follows the Punisher at first, and he's on a mission with a bunch of other soldiers, and they're trying to track down some bad stuff that's going on with Hydra. Hydra and AIM are at war with each other, and they're kind of trying to get in the middle of it. And then the Hulk steps in, and a whole bunch of massive crazy stuff happens. And then Spider-Man only kind of shows up at the end of this. But what this book does really well is it sets up for what's coming next. We don't know why Spider-Man is being dragged into this mess. And we kind of have an idea that they need someone with superhero abilities S.H.I.E.L.D. needs someone with superhero abilities to come in and kind of clean up the mess. But is Spider-Man the right guy? That's the question. And why are they choosing Spider-Man and not someone like Wolverine? What's different about this universe? So with Jonathan Hickman, when he does things like this, you kind of have to leave your continuity brain at the door and just let him direct you as the writer. And I think he does a good job with this. Honestly, this is a good, strong first issue that leaves enough breadcrumbs for you to want to pick up issue 2. And the main question in this issue is, why is Spider-Man brought into this mission? Why have all the characters, and especially going after someone like the Hulk, and what's Punisher's role in all this? So there's a lot going on here. Really nice setup issue. I'm trusting Hickman. I've always found him to be kind of a hit or miss for me, but lately I've been revisiting his works and I find him to be a real hit. I'm enjoying a lot more of his stuff. I remember when the most controversial book that he put out that really got me was Alien versus Avengers, because I remember when that book first hit the stands, everybody hated it. Oh no, not everybody hated it. People were really split by it. There were half the people said they really loved Alien versus Avengers. Half the people said it was brilliant and it was amazing. But I read it twice, and the first time I hated it. Second time, I thought it was genius. And after that, I learned to appreciate the entire series, and I think it's great. I loved Alien versus Avengers. His Wolverine revenge story was okay. I find that Hickman is really good at starting things like with really, huge ideas, but his follow through sometimes feels like it's a little short sighted. Like he just keeps going for a long time and then kind of gets bored with his own idea and then sort of abandons it. And the Ultimate Universe is the best example of this. But again, if he's doing something that's more constrained, I tend to give him a little bit more slack there, and I think that his vision can be a little bit more honed in. He clearly knows how to write Spider-Man. He did a really great job with that Ultimate Spider-Man series, but we'll see where this goes. I'm going to give that a 3.5 out of 5. Like that's a really strong start to a new series with Spider-Man. This could have been like a 2 out of 5. It was a 3.5 out of 5. So this was good, above average. Next up, we got Alien King Killer #3, the book that features aliens as special guests in every single book, because they really don't show up a lot in this. So this is the 3rd issue. I think it's a 5-part series, and Alien King Killer is sort of like there's a bunch of these. I don't know if they're synthetics or if they're like superhuman that have been injected with like alien blood or something like that. But these like kings, they know how to kind of keep the xenomorphs at bay, and they're in charge of protecting these cities or these jurisdictions or whatever, and they're all kind of related to each other. Kind of like what we see in Alien Earth. It follows this one character who's basically like, I guess, the Green King. And, you do see aliens from time to time, but like they only make, limited appearances. And these guys are really freaking good at killing aliens, by the way. It's a pretty compelling read, but, and as it's progressing, I'm starting to see how it connects more to aliens rather than them just show up. I'm starting to see like what they're really doing with this and how it's working itself into the overall lure of the alien verse. And it's pretty good. I like this. The art's fantastic. There's some really great sequential action in this. I think we got like 1 or 2 more issues to go. And there's a nice cliffhanger at the end, which I won't spoil for you guys. Like, next cover looks pretty badass. This looks like a cool cover for issue 4. So I'm on board with this. I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5 too. This has been a fun series so far. I like King Killer. It's not like, but if you're expecting like, your traditional alien story, like humans running away as they're being hunted by aliens, this is not the book. This is a different type of story. And I think, when it's done being told, it'll leave its own staple in that universe, for better or worse, really. And it's Saladin Ahmed writing it, and I was not the biggest fan of his run on Daredevil. I found it to be pretty bland. This I wouldn't say is bland. I would say it's serviceable. It's good. It's just like it's a good sci-fi action story, and I'm enjoying it so far. I have nothing bad to say about it. Next up, we got World's Finest #52. And this was a fun book. This is just a fun book. I mean, it's not a book that you're going to take super seriously or anything like that. But, you got Mark Waid, tackling, Batman and Superman, a Batman Superman team-up book. Kind of takes place in different eras of their legacy or their timelines. And, this run, they're in like some alternate universe, and they're fighting this dude named Tyrant Rex. And he has captured Superman because, he has magic and Superman's vulnerable to magic. And Batman is now trying to rescue Superman, and they're teaming up with this dude. His name is Skitaris. I don't know. Skitaris is where they are. That's the universe they're in. What's up, Phil? How you doing? They are in Skitaris, and the dude who is they're helping out is Jason something. he was a human who, crash landed on this planet and is now, stuck there, marooned there, and he's just made it his home. So, Batman early on, like, kind of leaves everybody and does his own thing, and Robin is left behind to kind of help out. And, now they're kind of trying to figure out what's going on with Superman, and Superman's been compromised, obviously, because they have a magic employed, and so Batman's trying to rescue Superman, and that doesn't necessarily go well. And it's a really beautifully illustrated book. Adrian Gutierrez is the artist on this, and his artwork is phenomenal. Like, this is a really solid DC book. I don't think I've read a single issue of this book that I have not enjoyed, and I blame Jay Burns for getting me onto this series, because like I jumped on in the previous arc where they were dealing with the Otherworld Ultraman and Owlman arc, and did like a little murder mystery thing. And so I blame Jay for getting me on board with this series, but I've enjoyed every issue that I've picked up since. It's issue 52, so issue 51 is, I think, where the arc starts, and it's been fun. So this is part 2 of it. We'll see where it goes from here. Give this a 3.5 out of 5. This is an entertaining book. It's a lot of fun. Right? I'm enjoying it. That's definitely above average. So it's a good book. I mean, it's not one of those books that, like, and the reason why I give these books a 3 out of 5 is, like, these are not, that means it's a good book, but it's a book I can live without. It's not like, something I would say I need for my collection, or that anything happens in it that is just, so shocking that I need to keep it. Like, this is, that's kind of why it falls into 3.5, but it's still a really damn good book. Really great writing, really great artwork. It's good. I think if you pick this up, you will enjoy it. If you're looking for sort of like light reading and you want to read a Batman Superman book, this is the current series is really fantastic. Next up, we got Wonder Man #4. This is the penultimate issue of this mini series here, which has been a lot of fun. My first Wonder Man story that I've ever read, and I'm enjoying it. I mean, this is a pretty light and fun book. Wonder Man totally bangs Hellcat in the sky in this issue, and that's awesome. So it's like censored sex in the skies. He does a lot of this with her, and that's awesome. There's nothing wrong with having sex in the sky, and like, I would say that's the highlight of this book. But there's also a plot there buried underneath it. And it's not a bad plot either. It's a little murder mystery, but it's a fun murder mystery, and it's lighthearted. It's not meant to be taken too seriously, and I kind of like that. We see Wonder Man showcasing his powers, but at the same time, we see, we get to know who his character is. Like, this is a fun read, and I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5 too. So we got one more issue to go. I think the last issue is the one that's going to kind of bring everything together, and it's written by Andy Duggan. I think he's done a really great job with this. Again, this is an above average comic. Could I live without it? Yes. But, having it and being able to enjoy it, it's also, there's a lot to be said about it. The artwork is really great. The artist is, who is the artist? It says Braga on there, but I'm trying to see where the credit is. Laura Braga is the artist, and she does a great job. Honestly, no one draws sex in the sky the way that Laura Braga does. She does a really good job here, and there's a strong sense of I want to say intimacy. I wouldn't say eroticism, but definitely intimacy when they are banging each other in the skies, because like, she's really, and actually, you know what, I would say there's some eroticism, probably more eroticism than intimacy. It's not like Lois and Superman having sex up in the sky and, it's like all love and everything. It's like they're totally banging each other, and and they don't make light of it either, or they do make light of it. you know, there are other people who are watching them have sex up in the air and are like, oh my God, what are they doing up there? You know, and it's funny. It's a good book. I really do enjoy Wonder Man. This is good. If you can get your hands on this, definitely pick it up. It's a fun read. All right. Lobo, number 4. I was scared about this book. I thought this was going to drone on because I don't find comics that are meant to be humorous funny. It's very hard to make me laugh when I'm reading a comic. Very rarely do I just like start laughing, and especially a book like this. But this book almost got me there. I almost laughed at this issue. And it is a really well illustrated and well conducted book. The writing is fantastic. The artwork is awesome. You got Scotty Young writing this, and Jorge Corona is the artist. And you just can't go wrong with the artwork in this. There's some really incredible layouts and design here, particularly this page here, the one right here that I'm tapping on. You know, you got to stop and really pay attention to everything that's going on, and it's telling its own story. It's, you know, moving at a sequential pace. It takes a moment to go through it all, and you'll laugh, and it's fantastic. This is a great book. I think it lands where it needs to. This is honestly the best issue of Lobo that they've put out thus far. And, you know, this has been a really consistent series. Like, the art and the direction on this has been awesome, you know, and the confrontation with Supergirl is great. This is a fun read. I really enjoyed this. This is a really great book. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. This is great. This is one of those books like I want to have in my collection. Great Lobo book. You know, and I want to have, I'll tell you why I want it in my collection. I want it in my collection because of the layouts. You know, as somebody who's a student of, you know, layouts and sequential storytelling and seeing what kinds of things you can do with it, this is the kind of book that this particular issue is one I would want to have. I would always want to have in my collection, so that if I ever need to, I can always reference it. And, you know, you try and come up with something kind of cool. So, great issue, great layouts, great writing, great art. Pick it up. 4 out of 5 for Lobo 4. Absolute Flash number 15. This book's getting pretty, or sorry, this is issue 16 now. We're on 16. This book's getting pretty intense. It's getting really intense now because they bring back Gorilla Grodd here. And Gorilla Grodd kind of starts out, you know, as sort of like a, you know, a mate to the Flash. And it's similar to what they did with Why the Last Man with what's the main character's last name and Why the Last Man? Main character. Yurik, what's his name? What was his name? Yurik Brown. Okay, so Yurik is the main character, and Why the Last Man and his monkey ampersand. The two of them have this dynamic, and Flash and Gorilla Grodd kind of have the same, you know, dynamic here. But he's not a gorilla; he's actually just a monkey. And in this issue, some pretty messed up stuff happens to Grodd, and we're finding out what it is. Wally West is the Absolute Flash, and he's really, you know, starting to become more comfortable in the role of the Flash. And Linda and him have this really good dynamic like they do in the main universe, but they're both younger here, so this is like a teenage Flash. And it's really well done. I am really liking this. I mean, we're 16 issues in. This is one of the better Absolute books out there, and particularly this issue here, where it goes and the direction and how it ends, it ends on quite the cliffhanger. This is a really solid Flash book. 4 out of 5 on this. This has been a really great series so far. It is a sleeper hit. A lot of people are missing out on this because they're so focused on Batman that I think they're missing out on how great this series is too. And not every Absolute book has been great. I'm really impartial to, not impartial, I'm kind of like don't really care about Green Lantern, Absolute Green Lantern, and I really don't care about Wonder Woman either. If I had to rank the best from like top to bottom, I would say Absolute Batman, Absolute Green Arrow would be second, Absolute Superman in third, and Flash in fourth, followed by everything else. Like this is a steady book here. It is really good. 4 out of 5 on Absolute Flash, number 16. Pick it up. It's really good. And then next up, we got Deathstroke the Terminator, number 4. And I think this is my favorite issue of the series so far. This has been really, really good. Again, every book that has come out this week has been very entertaining and very good, which I was not expecting. I was very pleasantly surprised by that. So Deathstroke, and he's cornered by Deadshot and who's the other guy that he was fighting? Deadshot and Dead something. Deathstroke, number 4. 26. Forgot the name. Well, no, hold on. Deadshot and so this is what's nice about having is it Grudge? No, it's not Grudge. It's some other 3. And if someone can answer that for me, that would be awesome. I know you guys are sitting there watching and being you like watching me squirm. It was a character that Jim Lee created. Deathblow. Sorry. It's Deathblow. So many Deathblow, Deadshot, Deathstroke, death. There's death in everything, damn it. Death is the deal of the day. But anyway, they Deadshot and Deathblow have now kind of like cornered Slade. They're ready to kill him, and then Ravager shows up, and Ravager is Deathstroke's daughter, and you think she's like on his side, but she's really questioning him, and she believes that he killed Wintergreen. Everybody believes that he killed Wintergreen, who's his buddy, and sort of like the head of all the mercenaries and stuff. And so we're getting closer to finding out the mystery of who killed Wintergreen. And what I really liked about this issue is the dynamic between Slade and Ravager. I really like how they explore their past and like their relationship and all these things. It's actually really well done, and it also ends on quite the cliffhanger. I'm really excited to see where this goes. 4 out of 5 on this. This is honestly the best issue, and I think the reason why it was the best issue is because of what they did with Ravager here. When you can relate to when you can have 2 characters relate to each other and them just sitting in a cafe and having a conversation and discussing life. I think that kind of stuff makes for really good, compelling storytelling. It's not always just about the action between Deathblow, Death Sage, Death Storm, and Death Dork, and Death Dis, and Death Grifter, Death Blow of Ards, Death and Death Jockey, Death Garbage. It's like, gosh, it's like, how's anybody supposed to like keep up with this shit? Deadshot, Deathblow, and Deathstroke. Like, come on. Too many deaths in the name. I'm dying to get it right. But anyway, I want to make a big shout out to Carmine the artist. Carmine D. G. DeMonico is his artwork is really shining in this. Tony Fleeks, who writes Stray and wrote Feral and wrote Stray Dogs. He's the writer on this. He's doing a really fantastic job. This is a really solid book. I really enjoyed Deathstroke the Terminator number 4. This is solid comic booking here. Good stuff. Definitely enjoyed it. Deathstroke the Terminator number 4. Pick it up. It's really, really good. All right, then we get into the nitty gritty now. Ron, how you doing, man? Good to see you. I appreciate you tuning in. And Chris, thanks for tuning in as well. Appreciate all you guys. I'm a little in a rest and recovery mode right now from all the conventions I did, but I'm also kind of gearing up to start tackling all the Kickstarter fulfillment and stuff like that I got to take care of this week. So yeah, it's just sort of, I don't know, I'm just sort of in a weird place right now, and not in a weird place life-wise. Everything else is good, but you know, if I just seem a little loopy today, that's what it is. But I really enjoyed, launching my new show yesterday, The Featured Guest. So The Featured Guest is a show that I'm going to probably air once a month, and it's just going to be an opportunity for me to talk to people outside of comics and interview different people that I find interesting. And it's definitely not going to be a new weekly show. I think interview shows are really hard to arrange on a weekly basis. And I was doing a whole bunch of interviews when COVID was happening. I was like interviewing someone every single day. And that was like really kind of where I got my experience with learning how to be a good interviewer. Because the best interviewer is an inquisitive one. And in order to be inquisitive, you got to be interested in the people that you're interviewing. So I've met some really cool people over the course of, I meet cool people every day, but you know, there are certain people that really stand out to me, and those are the people I'm kind of seeking out. So when I find those people, and you know, I can arrange a time to interview them, and if they agree to be interviewed by me, then they'll be on the show and we'll put something together. So yeah. All right. Next book we got here is The Punisher #5. This was phenomenal. This Punisher series. What's up, Lorena? How you doing? This Punisher series is fantastic. I absolutely love this Punisher series. You guys are expecting rage reviews from me. You're not going to get any rage reviews because these last 4 books that I'm about to review were all fantastic. So the only rage you're going to get from me is if you don't pick up these books at your local comic shops. These are really, really good. So Benjamin Percy's really been crushing it on Punisher. I think this is the best work I've read from him yet. I'll bet this about to lose shit because there's like landscapers outside. So if you hear like lawnmowers working, that's what it is. You guys hear that? He's really losing his shit right now. Do you guys hear Bentley barking? Let me know if you hear him. But anyway, this Punisher issue ends the arc. Oh, he's losing his shit right now. Oh my God, it's bad. Man, it is bad out there. You guys hear this shit? And he's such a small little dog too. But he like weighs a ton. He's like 30 pounds of muscle. Calm yourself, damn it. You shut the hell up. Come here. You good boy, Cat. You protecting the house? Yes, you are. You're protecting the house. Yes, you are. You're going protecting the house, girl. I'm gonna make sure those guys don't do anything bad to this house. Death dog. Death dealer dog. Ding dang dong. Good boy. 30 pounds of pure muscle. Yeah, exactly. And everybody's like, oh, isn't it so great cuddling with him? Yeah, it is great cuddling with him when he like pushes himself against me and pretty much knocks me off the bed. And then farts. This dog fucking farts like you can't believe. Like he farts like every 15 minutes. But I Dutch oven him too. All right, chill the fuck out. Fuck. What an asshole. I love him. Best dog ever. I really do love my dog. All right. So Punisher #5. Really violent book. Best Benjamin Percy issue I've read so far. There's a big showdown between Punisher and Jigsaw here, and it closes out the arc. The first 5 issues of this have been fantastic. This gets a 5 out of 5. I can't not have this book in my collection. This is awesome. This is the best Punisher series we've had since Steve Dillon and Garth Ennis were working on it. We really are in a renaissance right now in comics. If you're not picking up Punisher, you're missing out on some of the best stuff that's coming out right now. And for those people who are like, Marvel and DC don't got it anymore, you're not reading their books. And this is the book you should be reading. This is really good stuff. Really love what Benjamin Percy, and the artist also deserves an honorable mention here and deserves equal credit. It's actually 2 artists, Jose Luis Suarez and Sergio Davila. They are the pencilers. So it's a team of pencilers, and they're just absolutely crushing it. This is such a consistent and gorgeous looking book. It's amazing. This is really, really solid stuff. 5 out of 5. I'm going to be honest with you guys. The last 3 books are all 5s for me. So, but we're going to talk about them in a minute here. This has seriously been a hot fire week for comics. Next book we got here is Absolute Green Arrow #2. Holy shit, is this good? Holy fucking shit, is this good? I'm going to take it out of the board bag because of the shiny here. But motherfucker, is this a good book? This series has so far been following Dina Prince, the Black Canary. Not Dina Prince. What is it? Dina Lance. Sorry, Dina Lance. And she's trying to find out who the Green Arrow is because, Oliver Queen was killed in absolute evil by Hawkman, who's evil in this world. And she's trying to solve the murder of, she's trying to find out who the Green Arrow is, and she's trying to figure out, his connection to Oliver Queen because, Green Arrow was the name of his company, and it had some corruption issues with it, but she kind of distanced herself from it. She now works with an organization that's trying to solve all these to get to the bottom of everything. And the thing that I find interesting about this is that the way that Oliver Queen is portrayed here is almost sort of passive. Like he's not necessarily like a bad guy, but he's not really. His heart is in the right place, but there are times when he overlooks things that are, quite possibly immoral from other people, and really doesn't do anything about it. And the fight sequences in here are incredible. Raphael Albuquerque really crushes this. Pornsak Peccioli is just really doing a great job with the writing. And there is some major stuff that happens here. And I don't want to spoil this for anybody because this is just such a good comic series. Honestly, this is one of the best absolute books that we are seeing hitting the racks right now. And it leaves you with more questions as we're unraveling the mystery of who is this Green Arrow. And he's sort of like a vengeful ghost. And you won't guess who he is because every person you could suspect him of being, it's impossible that person is them right now, including Oliver Queen. But clearly the Green Arrow is back, and he's this kind of like vengeful, demon. And I really love it. And he's going after, really corrupt people, and he's killing them. This is not like a superhero. He's definitely, a vigilante. And his connection to Dina is also, interesting too. So where this is going, I have no idea yet, but I am fucking on board. This is such a damn good book. 5 out of 5 on Absolute Green Arrow 2. Buy this fucking book. Absolute stuff is crushing it right now. This is why this book is #2 for me. It is so good in terms of the Absolute Universe stuff. This is definitely in second place. This even has the potential to be better than Absolute Batman for me, which I think just does so many things right. It's we'll see what happens. But hold on a second. What did I do here? Didn't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Stop it. Why is everybody's comments showing up here? I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to see your fucking comments up on the screen. I'll see them in the side here. Damn it. Fuck. What the hell's going on here? Show comments on stage. There we go. Got rid of it. Sorry, guys. You belong off screen, not on screen, unless I say so, okay? That's my show for you. That's how I do things on my channel. Just kidding. I love you guys. Just want to make sure you can see all the comics as I'm reviewing them. Next up, we got Battle Beast. Holy shit, was this great. Battle Beast is now going up against Conquest. And, this is not going to be a single issue battle. This is, the start of the brawl here. It is phenomenal. It is hilarious. It is epic. It is violent. It is everything. So basically, it starts with Conquest and Battle Beast having a feast in this alien dude's home world, and he basically Battle Beast helped him, reclaim his throne and rebuild his kingdom. And now, like he is, kind of bored for a minute, and then Conquest shows up, and it turns out that the Viltrum wants to come in and take over this small little kingdom, and now Battle Beast is all that stands in the way, and Battle Beast is very interested in Conquest because he's hoping that Conquest will give him a good fight, and if he bests him in battle, and it'll just make things even better for him. But what really shines about this is Ryan Otley's artwork. It's fantastic, and Kirkman really builds a really nice chemistry between Conquest and Battle Beast. This is really such a solid series. It's probably one of the best books hitting stands right now every month. And it recently, they took a break after issue 6, and then they came back 6 months later with issue 7, and now they're rolling. I think they're going to probably get up to issue 12 and take another short break and then keep coming back. But I am really, really loving this. Robert Kirkman and Ryan Otley continuing to build on the legacy of their Invincible universe is really great. Pick this book up. It is so good. And Battle Beast number 10, you will not be disappointed. So good. And what's coming next is going to be even better. And obviously it teases for the next part of the brawl between Conquest and Battle Beast, which starts here. So I'm hoping it's going to just go on for like a couple issues of them beating the shit out of each other. And, maybe it's not that deep. Maybe it's just like a prolonged fight scene that goes on for multiple issues. But, it's a book called Battle Beast. What more are you expecting? This is definitely a book that delivers. 5 out of 5 on it. Battle Beast has been fantastic. And now we got the cream of the crop, the final book that came out this week, and the last one I read before I hopped on to do these reviews with you guys. We got Absolute Batman 21. Now, before we dive into this issue, a couple things I want to talk about with Absolute Batman. This is the hottest book in the comics market right now, in the mainstream comics market, American comics market. And, it feels like it's really loaded, because it is really loaded. Every single issue is a new first appearance, and it's steadily building up things, so like this is the first issue of featuring Two-Face, and you think that he's the focal point of the issue. He isn't really, but he shows up here for the first time as Two-Face. And, so does Penguin. This is also Penguin's first issue. So there's a lot of buildup with Batman and the things that are coming. And we know things that are coming, like, down the line. Like they're going to be bringing in Absolute Batgirl now, who's just Absolute Bat. And she's wearing Jim Gordon's trench coat. And Jim Gordon, he died in this universe. So, lots of things are different here. One thing I was thinking about as I was reading this is, I don't know if you guys are big fans of like the Batman video games that came out on the PS3, PS4 era, all those Arkham games. What would be really fucking great is if they made an Absolute Batman video game. I think it would be the hottest fucking thing out there. And if they set it in the same, if they built it around the same sort of, if they build it in the same sort of platform as they did with the Arkham games, I think it could be really great, and I think it could really expand on what they've done in the comics. And I wouldn't go about using the same art style or anything like that. I would make it Absolute Batman with the same type of like realistic graphics and everything. But it would be really cool to, for them to do something like that, because I don't think we would see that coming. It would be really interesting, and to see how these characters interact and all this stuff. But Absolute Batman number 21 really expands on a lot of things. Particularly, we finally get to see more of Jack Grimm, who's the Joker, and him and Bruce Wayne finally, come face to face in this issue, which is really great. And they have an interaction here, and it is very promising where things are going in the future. The Robins also have an interaction with Batman here too. And this Absolute Deathstroke is really interesting. I like what they've done with him. He's sort of like the mentor to the Robins, and he's not only missing his eye, but he's like missing like multiple limbs on his body. And they introduce Absolute Barbara Gordon here too, so we know where this is kind of going. It's pretty clear where things are going, and I'm enjoying it. I think this is a really good book. This is such a smart book. And the reason why it's smart is because it's doing a lot of things correctly simultaneously. First off, I think that this book really nods to some of the great stuff that Frank Miller did with Batman, with The Dark Knight Returns and Year One and things like that. So, particularly not just Frank Miller, but David Mazzucchelli as well. Like, the art styles, the murkiness of Batman. It's a lot less colorful, and everything's a bit exaggerated here. And it's even got some like nods to Frank Miller's style in the artwork, and at the same time, this book has undertones of like really good manga. And manga is huge right now. Manga! This stuff's like really hot right now, and it's more popular than American comics are. So the fact that they're kind of like interweaving these two art styles that are really, really hot is really cool. But this is an example of a panel. I'm talking this one right here, this headshot of Barbara Gordon. It feels very Frank Miller-y if you look at some of Frank Miller's artwork. And I've been reading his Daredevil, so I can definitely see the resemblance in it. But like Dracota's art style is definitely nodding to that. And I think that this book is a wonderful accident of a lot of things that have come together really, really well and are working consistently. It is a pretty loaded book in the sense that every single issue is like a first appearance, and I get it from like a fan perspective. That can get kind of exhausting. It's like the next issue is going to be Absolute Batgirl, next issue is going to be Absolute Two-Face, next issue is going to be Absolute Penguin, and then Absolute Joker, and then this and that and the other thing. And it doesn't feel like it's really focusing on those things because the overall narrative is still building and it's staying true to the story, which I commend Scott Snyder for doing. He's really focused on the narrative that he's building, and he never drops that, even though that there are these segues. Like I was really hoping that with Absolute Joker, we were going to get this prolonged focus arc that was going to focus on Joker, but he instead decided to focus on other things that were happening in this universe at the same time. And and then he comes back to Joker. I mean, the first interaction between Absolute Joker and Batman is in this issue. And, Joker is more than just the Joker in this. It's not just going to be a showdown between Batman and the Joker. This is when they finally fight. It's going to be the final showdown between these two characters. So that's the promise that this book is making you. And I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. I mean, this has been a lot of fun. Wherever this lands, I can honestly say that we will be looking back on this series decades from now as some of the best, Batman comics out there. This will definitely stand the test of time because of all the wonderful things that it has done, not just for comics in terms of getting new readers interested, but how it amalgamates all these different styles and methods of storytelling into doing something truly unique that honestly none of the other Absolute books are doing, honestly. And no other comic is really doing that, to be honest with you. Like, this is a gem in terms of what it's really doing. It's speaking to a mainstream audience, but it's speaking to a much larger audience. It's bringing people back into comics. I think that's a really important thing. So this is definitely a 5 out of 5. You should have every single issue of this book in your collection, and make sure to sell it off before the market takes a dive. But this is definitely a really strong week of comics. I had, very rarely do I have a bunch of books that are all 5s for me. And, majority of 4s, nothing below a 3.5 this week. Even Spider-Man really impressed me with its first 4 out of 5 in a long time. Again, not saying that the next issues of Spider-Man aren't going to disappoint, or even that the next issue of Absolute Batman won't disappoint. Anything's possible. But right now I'm seeing a lot of creators a lot of art teams really putting out some of the best work that I've seen in a really long time. I really do think we're in like a really solid renaissance period in mainstream comics, and that's a really wonderful thing. I like to see that. It's inspiring for me as a creator doing my own things, and it's a lot of fun. Again, I did miss one book that came out this week, and that was Smile for the Camera, which takes place in the Smile universe, and I'm gonna try and track that down and pick it up probably tomorrow or whenever I have a chance. The next time I'm in a comic shop, I'll find a shop that has the last 2 issues of that book. So and I really like Smile, so I wish I could have reviewed it for you guys this week, to be honest. But other than that, we had a really solid we had a lot of solid releases this week. In the coming weeks, what I'm going to be doing right now, I'm coming really close to finishing up John Byrne's run on Fantastic Four. So last year I finished my collection. I got all 66 issues. Let me see, what issue did he start with? I think it was like 69 or some crazy number. So his last issue was 292 and his first issue was 233, I believe. Is it? I think it was 232. By John Byrne. It was 232 even. Yeah, it was 232. Okay. So 292 minus, 60 issues of Fantastic Four. I'm almost done reading the entire arc of that. So I'm now on like issue 286 of it. And I'm gonna get to 292 soon, and 292 is awesome because it's a very kind of controversial storyline where members of the Fantastic Four go back in time to stop Nick Fury from killing Hitler. So that'll be an interesting read for sure. But I plan to do an in-depth review of John Byrne's entire run on Fantastic Four, and I plan to do the same thing with Frank Miller's entire run on Daredevil. Which is something I recently collected. This was my birthday present to myself, and now I'm reading it, and then we're going to do a more in-depth review of those entire runs. And I think I'll be talking to Vaughn Coleman because Vaughn put me on this on this quest. So I think it would be really great to bring him on, and we can discuss Frank Miller and his entire process of working on Daredevil and more in-depth review. So I am always reading. I've got a never-ending list of stuff that I'm going through, and it's been a really wonderful time to do this stuff because I don't really have as many conventions this summer, which is great. I have like one show in July, and a couple shows in August, and then my season kind of picks back up again in September, which is nice. The circuits are tough this year, doing 4 shows in a row, that was definitely tough. But what's really nice is that afterwards I kind of get like a month off to kind of like relax and not have to worry about stuff, and having a show here and there, it's really not that bad. It's definitely a lot less stressful than what I was dealing with last year when I had a show every other weekend. So I'm kind of happy with the way my convention season has been shaping up. It's been a really great year, and just being at home is fantastic. I've something I didn't really tell you guys, but I bought flowers for my patio, and I do it every year just because I like flowers. I think that they look fantastic. So I just bought new flowers last week, and now I'm taking care of them and stuff like that. And it's really relaxing. What I do usually in the morning is I'll usually wake up and I'll journal for a bit, and then either I'll work out or I'll go downstairs and take care of Bentley, like walk him and feed him and groom him and stuff like that, and then make myself breakfast. And for me, making breakfast is like a whole process. And then I sit outside on my patio and I have breakfast, and I just kind of like don't pick up my phone or listen to music or anything. I just kind of sit there and have breakfast and just marvel at the beauty of being on my patio. And then after that I'll read for a little while, and I should be writing more I should probably be selling more too, but I think really the thing that I've been working on a lot this year is my convention psychology, so that like when I get on the floor, I can be the best version of myself, and part of that is being able to be spiritually aligned the second a show opens, and be okay with handling rejections and handling lots of rejections, and not getting worked up over not selling out or things not necessarily working out the same way, like making sure I hit my goals at the same time and making sure that I can do this so that I can enjoy periods like this where I don't have to travel as much. So it's definitely helped improve a lot of the things that I've been doing. It allows me to also kind of build on what I've been doing here on this channel now. So like you guys will notice, like I'm doing a less sales shows. So we're doing about one sales show a week. And the main reason is because, I've got a lot of back stock right now. I've got so much stuff that I've picked up that hasn't sold, even though I've showcased it multiple times. So rather than do like 5 sales shows a week and burn myself out and not entertain you guys, I figured, why don't we look up for different things we can do in terms of broadcasting, which is kind of what brought forth the idea of featured guests. And it's certainly what gave birth to the comic mukbang reviews, because, hey, if I'm buying all these comics every week, might as well review them, and I'm enjoying them, and I enjoy sharing my thoughts with you guys. I want to hear what your thoughts are too. So, I'm glad to hear Lorena is on board to get The Punisher now. You should definitely pick it up. It's a great book. Pretty much everything I picked up this week has been fantastic, and I'm excited to see what comes out next week. This is a great time to be in comics, and I look forward to see where things go next. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I will be back on the air for Kicking It with Onrie, the live shopping show at 11 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be showcasing back issues. I just picked up a bunch of stuff. I'm ready to go with you guys. We're also doing $3 FOMO books tomorrow. Some really cool stuff that I picked out for you. So be sure to tune in. We're going to have a really great time tomorrow. And I'm going to show off some fun stuff for you guys. So I'll see you tomorrow. Till then, have a great rest of your day. And I look forward to seeing you guys later. Thanks for hanging out with me. Take care.